Cockroaches. That's what I'll be talking about today. I'm Ray of Sunshine. Glad to have you with me. So I have my new fortune cookie format and all my little fortune cookies slips filled out. So once again today I cheated, and the fortune that or the topic that I chose to open the program is cockroaches, and cockroaches. Is kind of appropriate for today's discussion because this particular cockroach story is about being at a restaurant and cockroaches falling from the ceiling. And as you might have figured out, that's not a place I go to anymore. And we went out for breakfast this morning for Father's Day, and happy Father's Day to all of those that the message may apply to. I'm not real big on holidays and stuff. In fact, I talk about that. I think it's on video number 6, and there'll be boxes on the side of my head that you can click on. You know that if you've been with me before. So I talk about some of that on my other videos. But today we were celebrating Father's Day. Actually, you know what? I gave up on Christmas one time. I decided to rebel against Christmas. I decided that it was too commercial and all this gift-giving baloney had to go, and so I tried implementing that in my life. It didn't fly. So, the moral of that story is sometimes you just have to comply. So, it wasn't in my heart, but it was a way that I complied anyway to kind of fit in with society, fit in with my family. Can only rebel so much. And I've been a rebel. I've been a rebel for a long time, but, you learn to pick your battles. And that's what happened at this diner we went to this morning. Beth, who used to work at this diner back when she was in college and stuff like that. And if Beth feels it's agreeable to order someplace or go someplace, then I kind of go with it. I go with her recommendations because she knows what she's talking about. We were there a while ago, and I said, "Hey, why don't we order from such and such a place?" And she says, well, I used to get Staples in my food when I used, so there's certain places that she won't recommend, and she's confident, and she used to work there. She knows the kitchen, she knows the people, she knows the cleanliness, she knows the food, she knows everything about this place, and she recommends it. So I feel comfortable about it. And I used to be the same thing. I've talked about this on that 1 through 6 video series. I've talked about it quite a bit. And some of the activities that I used to get involved with, and one of which was I was in the catering business. I've been a massage therapist for a long time, and what happens over a period of time is you build up expertise. You practice makes perfect, that sort of thing. And so I talk about that concept, and I didn't talk about this, but when I think back on those experiences that I had a gourmet catering business. It was very popular. And the one thing I always did when I was cooking was I always made everything exactly the way I like it. And at first, sometimes I would second guess myself. I'd say, you know what, maybe I shouldn't put so much salt, or maybe I shouldn't put so much of this spice or that spice or whatever it was. But I adopted the policy of doing things exactly the way that I would like it for me, and it worked, and it's always served me well. And same thing with doing massage. I always said if there was going to be somebody hovering over me to rub my body, I would want it to be me, because I always gave it my best. And so when I go to a restaurant, I kind of expect the same thing. That's what they're there for. That's what they do. They serve food. So I've learned to kind of be a little bit more tolerant than I have been, especially today. It was busy, and they had a lot of big long line for takeout food and stuff like that, and it took a long time to get our food, and that's not a big issue. I'm tolerant of stuff like that. I'm usually not so tolerant if the food doesn't really come the way that I expect it to come. Like I said, this is what they do. You kind of expected they would get it right, but I've learned to be tolerant because, well, complaining doesn't is not really an uplifting experience, and these days I'm learning that self-talk makes a big difference, and I talk about that on some of my other videos too. By the way, if you haven't seen my series 1 through 6, you could check that out. That's where 1 and 2, episodes 1 and 2, is where I give a tour of my sanctuary here and talk about some of the people in my life, and it's a place where you can learn some stuff about me, and also my pilot video, which there'll be a box on the side of my head that you can click on. But my pilot video is also, it's a good introduction to me. You'll learn a lot about me. You'll learn a lot about you. If you haven't met my husband Sid yet, you'll meet, who passed away. Sid passed away in 2015, but we were together for 17 years, and I talk a lot about Sid on a lot of my videos, and so you'll get to meet him, and you'll get to learn a lot about him, and you'll get to learn a lot about you. So that's that whole spiel. So as you may know, I have this fortune cookie format, which I've been using. I put all these fortune cookie slips in my gong bowl, and I pick a fortune cookie slip to come up with a topic. So my first topic was cockroaches. So, we've been at places where there were cockroaches falling from the ceilings. We don't go there anymore. This particular place this morning, I learned to be, so I kind of knew, and I like diners. There's some that I like more than others, but especially this morning, the place was busy. There was a line for takeout orders out the door, and it took a long time, but also by the time the food came, it wasn't exactly the way that I would have liked it, but I decided, because I decided to do something different every day, to discover something different about me every day. And so before the food even came, I decided that, whatever it is, if it's acceptable, if it's gross, I'm not gonna accept it. But if it's agreeable enough, and in this case it was, everything was cooked perfectly fine. But by the time I got it, it was a little bit cold, which is not exactly the way I like it. But learn to be flexible. And so that's what I decided to do today, to do something different, to discover something different. And that's what I'm encouraging everyone to do in this energy, this new world energy that we're in, because it's about discovering something different. Something different is on the horizon. Different like we've never seen before. And so it's time to get used to that energy. And a way to get used to it is just by being exposed to it. And so I make it a point to be exposed to it every day. Do something different. And my suggestion is for you to try it out. First of all, you could send one of my videos to some character that it would not be in your character to send it to. Why would you do that? Well, to discover something different about you. You might send it to somebody who is going to say, geez, I didn't even know they knew I was alive. Geez, I didn't even think she knew me, or whatever. You know what I mean? There could be all kinds of different reactions that you don't know about, and you're not going to find out about unless you give it a try. But there's also the opportunity for all of us to each discover something different about ourselves. And for me, that's important because getting used to something different is the energy that we're in. And so I make it a point to find things to get used to, just to get used to different. I talked about this on one of my other videos. I think it was video number 6, where we've seen sprinklings of different all throughout history, and so someday you might be walking out to your boat, and there might be 100 people walking on water. We don't know what to expect, but to me, getting used to the idea of different kind of makes sense. So that's what I've been doing. So I'm going to pick a fortune cookie slip to see where our next topic is going to be, and this is excerpt. So I have a few of those tucked in every now and then. There's a lot of those slips. These were, and that might be on video number 4 that I talk about that. But I have all of these ideas that come to me, and I talk to my phone, and I put them like in a Google Doc, and there's a whole big list of topics to cover, and those are all of those fortune cookie slips. So the excerpt is, an excerpt from my daily affirmation. And I gather inspiration. I talk about that on, I think that's on video number 6 also. Inspiration comes to me from a lot of different places, and that's the other opportunity that you have to discover something different about you, and how do you deal with different, and how do you deal with discovering messages in unlikely places. And so that's another benefit of checking out that 1 through 6. I'm going to name it the 1 through 6 video collection. So when I talk about the collection, you'll know that's the 1 through 6 videos that you can click on and maybe learn something about you. If I think the other opportunity that you want to take advantage of when you have 25 minutes and 25 seconds is to check out my pilot video. My pilot video is about a tangent, my life going on a tangent that you might be able to relate to. And I reach a point in that particular episode, that's like a 15-year chunk of my life, where there's not so much as a speck of light at the end of my tunnel. So if you can relate to that concept, you might be able to relate to the story that I have on my pilot video. It's called Why Me? And there will be a box on the side of my head. And if you want to talk about, maybe you don't, the boxes on the side of my head, I talk about that on all of those 1 through 6 videos, because I had a challenge with the boxes. But I stuck with it, just like I'm sticking with this program, I made a commitment that I'm going to do a video every single day, and I'm going to get better at it. And by the way, I appreciate you being with me, and I appreciate your tolerance. But my goal is to have fun. So you can't have too much fun. There's no such thing as too much happy, and that's one of my goals, and that's what I'm working on this program, and hopefully some of that will rub off on you as well. So I'm going to read a section of the affirmation. I gather information, I gather inspiration from all different kind of places, as I talk about. I think that's on video number 6 too. Inspiration, I'll take 2. And I love inspiration, and I gather all of that stuff, and I talk to my phone, and I tell it so that someday I can compile affirmations for myself, because it's important that we tell the story that we intend to live in the energy that we're in right now, and that's something that I'm learning. So I gather all this information that I'm inspired by, and I compile them into affirmations that I read every morning. I start off every morning, and I talked about this. I think it might be video number 3, party time video, my birthday video, and I talk about Sid, my husband Sid, and how he used to do things sort of like he'd show up with a tray of breakfast food, this big smile on his face, and say, "Good morning, my beautiful Raymond." And that was an inspiration for me, because those are the kind of things I missed after Sid was gone. On the other side, he's still here, on the other side of the veil. But he's no longer here with breakfast trays. And what I learned from that, especially during a period when I was looking for things to learn about becoming my own best friend, I compared it to Sid. Sid did a lot of things for me. Sid got me, that's on video, I think video number 5. I talk about some of the gifts in my sanctuary here that Sid has given me over the years, and a lot of these things were things that I had given to Sid as well, and he did those kind of things to make me feel special. And so when I was thinking of being my own best friend, I learned a lot from Sid. So I get up in the morning now, and the first thing I do is say, "Good morning, my beautiful ray of sunshine," because it feels good. And I learned from Sid. That's what best friends do. So if I'm going to be my own best friend, I can be my own best cheerleader, and I can learn how to do that by remembering the times that Sid used to be my best cheerleader as well, and I used to be his best cheerleader. So I learned from all of those previous experiences. I talk about letting something go every single day that no longer serves me, and those kind of things, those kind of memories serve me. They teach me, and I've learned a lot from that. I've learned a lot from Sid over the years, and you're going to learn a lot from Sid too. So I'll be talking about Sid some more. In fact, I talk about him quite a bit. And I think it's video number 2, and it's about learning about me, learning about me s'more. I think it is the name of that one. But and I talk a lot about Sid and a lot of the things that I've learned from him. So let me read. I have a commitment to these programs. I try to keep them down to a half hour or less. I'm not here to take up your whole life. Give you a little bit of inspiration, and then I'll catch you on the rebound. Let me get into this affirmation. Give you an idea of what I fed myself for breakfast. I am blessed with an enormous love for life, and I am rising up to the next exciting chapter of my unfolding with enthusiasm and unshakable trust. I am transcending fear and doubt and allowing my wildest dreams to emerge into the landscape of my experience. Every day I am letting go of something that makes me feel weak and less than enough. I am in alignment with what matters most, which is my soul's purpose. I am reclaiming my power, growing, and becoming free from old stories. My old program is being rewritten as I am leaving behind everything that no longer serves me. And I realized we were at breakfast today, because this is the first thing I do in the morning, tell myself the affirmation, that, we're in that energy of letting go of things that no longer serves us. But one of the things that still serves me and that I'm not going to let go on, and sometimes there's a fine line, but as I was talking about earlier, when I did some of these endeavors in a different part of my life, leading up to this part that I'm in right now, I always gave it my best. I always gave it my all, and I was very successful with that particular portion of my program. Of no matter what skill I was developing, what program I was on at the time, give it my best, give it my all. That's something that's not going to change. And so, meanwhile, I'm going to let you go. I'll catch you on the next program. And it's playtime. Create you.